something that I really feel like is important for people that I work with. I like to have every day almost feel like a vacation, like work is a vacation, like have fun, have so much fun what you're doing that, you know, that it just all fits in. And then I also like to tell people, like, you're the decider. So it gives people a lot of decision. Like, I choose to do this. Like,
welcome to Inspiration Contagion, where we spread inspiration one story at a time. I am your host, Holly Jean Jackson. Each interview spotlights transformational business leaders, their stories, challenges, and advice for how you too can lead yourself and others through inspiration. Learn how you too can achieve peak performance, build more revenue, and lead the legacy you were meant to lead. Episode 127 is here, and we're joined by the incredible Webb. She's a clinical psychologist with over 32 years of experience, a hypnotherapy wizard, and a pro at helping people smash their inner blocks. She's worked with everyone from couples to corporations, appeared on Good Morning America Health and Fox and Friends, and even advised top psychiatrists at Memorial Sloan Kettering, based in New York City and Florida. She's like all over the place. Webb's the real deal. So let's dive in. All right, Webb, welcome to
Thank
Inspiration.
You. Well, really, I have a degree in clinical psychology, but really I'm a life coach. That is really how I stopped actually doing traditional therapy years ago. And I started, when people used to say, what is a life coach? I say, well, it's different than therapy because it's more results oriented. So
yeah, and what a killer combo to have both of those experiences in your back pocket to give your clients the most of everything. So I want to kick off with, what makes you an inspirational leader, or what would you say is your secret sauce, Webb?
I love that question. That is such a great question. When people come to me, one thing that I see their greatness when they don't, and then I basically hold them to it, if that makes sense. So I'll say, like, when they start saying, yeah, but, and I can't, and I know that we all, I have talked to you about, we all get stuck and we all have things that we feel like we can't do. And so what I like to do is to step by step show people a path to get what they do want, not what they don't want, and move out of that. So that's my secret sauce. I see people's greatness.
Yeah, my goodness. And it's really interesting how we are so hard on ourselves. We're our own worst critic, and so difficult and so challenged on how we judge ourselves. And this is why, like, for myself, even, I'm still a recovering perfectionist. I get to ask myself the question sometimes of, Holly, what advice would you give your client or your best friend? Because oftentimes it's like nicer than what I would say to myself. And so I love that you're giving them that step-by-step path to their greatness so that they can see themselves the way that others see them and get what they want. That's amazing. Webb, I want to ask you, how would you define inspiration, or what does it mean to you?
You're like a wizard with questions. I love that too. Inspiration is really where to me, it's where at any time, like, you could be stuck or something, and you have an idea that you've manifested that flows to you, and you start to take steps towards it, where you're like, wow, this would be so amazing if we did this. And it's really as simple as just asking a lot of times, and just getting that internal guidance with yourself is what I'd like to do.
Yeah, my goodness. Internal guidance is really, really important, and listening to that small whisper and that small voice when it speaks up. And sometimes it's really quiet and sometimes it's really loud. When you get that burning idea in the middle of the night or at an inconvenient moment, that's oftentimes inspiration. And of course, what I like to say is, when inspiration bites, you should listen and you should pause so that you can actually hear it.
Yeah.
So that's,
and I would even reframe what you just said, bites, because bites not a very, I don't want to be bitten necessarily. I just want to be like tapped on the shoulder. And a lot of times I feel like for me, I like to write it down because I'll just dismiss it sometimes particularly when it's a real powerful idea that's come to me. I'm like, well, how is that going to work? So then I just start knowing everything's possible and just let go of it and just see what happens when it comes back. It's really fun.
Beautiful reframe. And that's why you're good at doing these things. Webb, I want to kind of shift gears a little bit and ask you a bit about peak performance and how you're helping get clients there. So how would you define peak performance and how did you arrive at this definition?
Of my clients, how do I get them to peak performance? Is that what you're asking?
For yourself or for your clients. So maybe start for yourself and then how you help clients define that for themselves.
I don't feel that it's ever something that can, like, peak performance is just, it's like, okay, I know how I'm going to describe this. You know, when you're merging into ongoing traffic and you're going 25 miles an hour off the exit ramp and you're going to move into 80-mile-an-hour traffic, it's really like that. I don't like to say like peak performance, like you have to be this to be this. I like to just call it adjustment. Like you move up, you move down, you stop, you this and all that. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does make sense.
Oh, excuse me. Don't make noise. Sorry. I went to the background making noise.
No worries. I like that, making adjustments, moving up, moving down, and instead of having this definition or focus on peak performance, it's more about embracing the journey. That's actually something I'm working with my climbing coach on regarding how we would reach peak performance in air quotes for climbing is being present for the learning experience and for the journey of that particular climb versus allowing ego or comparison to take over and negative thoughts or wishing or hoping instead of just being fully present with the experience and learning as you go. So I like your kind of adjustments, moving up, moving down, stopping, reassessing risk in that scenario, which would apply to other things for people.
Yeah, I like to, because I do a lot of performance coaching too, and I do a lot of coaching with some real powerful people. And I always say you don't have to be 100%. This is not, you don't have to be on overdrive. I love horse racing and I love horses. And when you're training a racehorse, most of the time they spend their time in the stall or walking, only for a very short time during the day are they really doing that running. And during most of that, they're not doing quote peak performance. Like even during a race, a lot of times they aren't having to reach their maximum, if that makes sense. So you can still achieve greatness and not have to work so hard. Like make it more fun and easy is what I like to think about.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that we talk with guests a lot in the peak performance section is a balance of peak performance and peak rest. And what you just shared there is very true. And if we go back to, I like sharing the climbing analogy because it's really great metaphor for building your business in a lot of ways. And so with that, if we look at rest and we look at why climbers get injured all the time, it's because they have this false view that they need to be performing on every route, on every session, which is insanity. When you have athletes like at the Olympic level and they have coaches, they have deload weeks, they have hard days, they have easy days, and they stick to the program, which also means they have rest days and rest weeks and seasons of recovery. So the same thing applies to business owners. So if we look at it as a different framework, if you just had a launch, you just published a book, you just did some sort of big thing, you need to plan time. You get to plan time before and after to rest and recover and celebrate, because we forget to celebrate as well.
That is so true.
Yeah. So it's equal parts rest so that we can perform. And if you're constantly pushing yourself to perform, of course, you're going to burn out.
Something that I really feel like is important for people that I work with, I like to have every day almost feel like a vacation, like work is a vacation, like have fun, have so much fun what you're doing that you know, that it just all fits in. And then I also like to tell people, like, you're the decider. So it gives people a lot of decision. Like, I choose to do this. Like, I choose to do that. Like, you're in power. You can choose to go to work today or not. Up to you. And everything has certain consequences, but you get to we're much more empowered and stronger than we think, if that makes sense.
It does. Yeah. One of the things I notice with my clients is it seems to me that quite a few business owners and just people in general are waiting for somebody out there to give them permission. And I get to remind them, hey, you get to choose right now. You're going to give yourself permission to do this. Nobody else is going to give you permission. This is something you get to step up to do. And so this is kind of the same thing that you're saying. And of course, I love the vacation thing. Folks who are planning only for retirement, I've noticed when people retire, they are just kind of digging their grave because they don't have a great transition plan and they're not celebrating their life. So I like to help people reframe retirement, and it's more like, let's plan and have many retirements along the way so that you're enjoying your life while you're young and you have a lot of vibrancy. But also, how do we make our lives and our business playful and fun so that you never want to retire, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's really, again, it's like, to me, it's like I like to have vacation all the time throughout the day, no matter really what's going on. I like to, some days may, you know, coming out of like a tough cycle or something might be like you really dug in, and yet you just grow from it and you're like, wow, I did that. That's amazing. Like, I am resilient. I've got this. I'm doing this. It's really fun and I can do it, because what's my other choice? Am I going to be like failure? No, that's not an option. So it's really fun to get to go for it.
Yeah, yeah. So obviously, Webb, on the way to where you are today, working with your clients and where you are in terms of success within your business, what are some of the challenges or obstacles you faced along your journey?
Well, that's another, you're like great on questions. One of the things that I am reassessing actually right now in my business is because I moved to Florida and I'm back and forth from New York, and it's different because most of my clients are still in New York. I still have mainly New York clients, and I feel like I didn't realize, because of all the internet, that you actually, that I may actually need a more physical New York base in what I do, even though a lot of what I do is online. And so that's something that I didn't even realize, that I am finding out you need that kind of combo. So that's something that was difficult to, like, really? Oh my gosh, I thought I was so clever at all this, but you learn as you go.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing is we can't know until you have the experience, and we don't know what we don't know until we,
Exactly.
discover it.
Yeah.
And that's why it's great to have mentors, coaches, leaders, all the things,
Yeah.
so that you can see those blind spots and
Yeah.
figure out how to navigate them.
Yeah.
Um,
So true.
yeah. So, Webb, in the work that you're doing, whether it's with clients or teammates, how have you created a culture of peak performance in the work you do?
I love that. Well, when people come to me, usually there is, and come to you too, there is a place that they're not achieving what they want. And I just, when I see people in the first session, I then design an individual course of coaching, and I just know how to, for their individual needs, put them almost in that place to succeed, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, for instance, like, let's say someone comes to me and this is uh, true, like they're scared to fly, and they are like they have to fly. They're like a huge, like, they have to fly at least several times a week. it's impacting their company so much that it's impacting their whole life so much that this is not necessarily a work, yet they want to shift out of that. So when you clear that up, then a lot of other things clear up too, if that makes sense. So I would sometimes I'll start with that, which has nothing to do with necessarily work, even though
Yeah. But I mean, how we do one thing is how we do everything, and how we show up in the fears that we have. Once we feel empowered to overcome those fears, I imagine it has a ripple effect on other fears that would affect the workplace. So it makes sense. So let's shift gears just a little bit, and we're going to talk about revenue. So can you tell me an example of when in your business you've left money on the table and what you did to fix it?
when I left money on the table was sometimes I like to feel like whenever I do that, I reframe it for myself right away, because I like to say I'm doing a good deed for what I'm doing. And that everything, and usually it comes back tenfold once I do that. And when I just almost like I let it go, money's just energy, and it always comes back, and sometimes I know I've gotten stuck with that sometimes, and it hasn't worked out for me. And I've been like, what? Yet with like deal flow and stuff, and things like that. So I like to keep moving past that. Like I had to literally do a lot of work on myself and reframe that, and just start to let it go, move it in a different direction.
Yeah, I love that. One of the things that oftentimes happens with my consulting clients as we're working together is we notice that they have some blocks around money, right? A lot of people have really interesting beliefs, really interesting thoughts,
Well, I
and
talked
really,
to you about mine, and you gave me like a sentence, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And it's like totally like shifted me right away. Like amazing. You were so
thanks.
helpful. So, I mean, literally, I was like, wow, that's powerful. So, something
Yeah.
that I wanted to just say, and I feel like this is important for everyone to is listening, is all you can be at the highest height of whatever you're doing. And everyone I know has a coach, a mentor. I don't care who you are. I mean, presidents can call Tony Robbins and ask him, or Tony Robbins has mentors, and they're like, top advisors in the world. Everyone I know has a mentor, and we all are human at the end of the day, or at the beginning of the day, and all throughout the day. However, so it's when you're more open, that's where you're open to learn, if that makes sense. And we're
Yeah.
all given life challenges that
Yeah.
come up, and it's just, instead of beating yourself up, it's really just saying, okay, let's do this differently. What am I going to learn from this?
Yeah. Yeah, I have a climbing coach, a health coach, a life coach, a business community of advisors and mentors. So, it takes a lot of people to support us. And honestly, the more you get into this and you become more obsessed with peak performance, however you define that for yourself, you find yourself needing, you get to step into more relationships because you are more aware that you have all these blind spots in the background. And so they help you get to that next level.
Yeah, it's cool. And it's really fun to say, oh my gosh, that negative belief and that belief that it was like so ingrained is literally like, it's like the Wizard of Oz. It's just somebody pulling a lever back there that's not even real. It's not even the truth. Like the truth is we can have whatever we want. So that's,
100%.
yeah.
Well, this has been great. We're going to do two quick rapid questions to wrap this up.
Okay.
What's the best one piece of advice you would share with others today?
Love yourself and be kind and smile and tell everyone hello, and just be nice to everyone, because you never know if they're suffering.
Beautiful. And what's the legacy you wish to leave behind?
A loving, fun, kind, inspiring person I hope to be, and loving mother.
Beautiful. All right. Well, thank you so much, Webb. If something that Webb shared today lit a fire in you, whether it's about healing, goals, or just being kinder to yourself, don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode with someone who needs it, and hit follow so you never miss out on these powerful conversations. And hey, your growth, it's not a solo mission. So let's keep climbing together. We'll see you on our next episode.
Thank you for joining the show today. I hope you were inspired. More importantly, I hope you take action. If the show inspired you, I ask that you subscribe and share it with your network. Let's spread inspiration together today.